High-performing teams don't just happen, they're built. And at the core of every successful team is a contagious identity. It's more than teamwork, it's a mindset. It's about creating a culture where collaboration is second nature, innovation thrives, and every member steps into their true potential. When teams embrace the correct mindset and contagious identity, they tap into something bigger, a shared purpose, aligned values, and an unstoppable moment that drives high-performing teams. Because when identity is contagious, every team member plays with passion and owns their impact, and thrives in an environment where growth isn't just expected, it's inevitable. A contagious identity is where power meets transformation. For more information, go to kevinbritz.com. Good afternoon and welcome to the Lunchtime Series with me, Kevin Britz, leading the charge with insights and information, ultimately effective results. Joining me in today's leadership and coaching segment, she's a catalyst for personal and professional growth, striving to empower individuals and organizations to unlock performance and happiness. Welcome to the show, Hilda Fainsod.
Thank you very much, Kevin. I'm excited to have this conversation with you.
Thank you so much for being here. So Hilda, just to kick it off, tell us a little bit about who you are, what it is you do, and also where you're from, because you're not from South Africa and you're from across the world.
Oh yeah, I'm in Mexico City. I'm from here. I spent part of my time here and part of my time in Spain because I have a daughter there. I do have two grown-up kids. I'm a coach. I work for 20 years in the corporate business with top executives to improve their leadership. And I can say I'm in the transformation business because I support others to success. And actually, those days, I keep talking with my clients about performance and happiness. And I know you are very interested in talking about happiness. And I totally agree, because in the business world, sometimes we focus only in results. So I do that, Kevin.
I love it. And it's so nice to hear, you know, when it's part of your transformation, and happiness is, you know, as part of the important factor that you touch on. Because if we look at the world today, there's so much that people focus on that essentially can push us and steer us into unhappiness. But I mean, before we touch on those, how did you start your journey? Because I'm sure that, you know, it's not a tick box exercise, and part of that journey to get to being able to be a transformative coach that helps people access this. Tell us a little bit about your backstory.
Yeah, I began 20 years ago, and I do have 10 different coaching certifications. So that allowed me to transform myself and to go from to do smart questions and to listen to my clients and to understand what they need and support them, to really understand how to create impact. And I don't allow my clients only to think about more and success and productivity and results and outcomes and KPIs or OKRs and all that stuff. When I ask them, I do the question or the reflection about how are they going to transform themselves. First them, and after that the business.
Yeah.
Because the way out, that's crazy, the way out is inside.
Yes.
So we need to work inside. So we began like, how do I change others and my team and the business and the product and the process and all that stuff outside. And I forget about myself. And
Yeah.
who is this leader that I want to be? And who is that person that want to transform something? So I don't think in transformation outside. I do believe that when you change, you can change a lot outside. But I don't believe in the transformation outside without an inner work. So my career in the last years was about how can I impact others? And that's why I wrote two books, one in Spanish and one in English, because I want to increase impact outside. And that's why I do have a voice through podcasts like yours, because I want to say something outside. But it's to give yourself the time, the space, and the reflection, the work and the practice to transform yourself and to become who do you want to be. And this is, Kevin, a matter of design. You can design the future. You can design what you want to be and allow your future self to be designed.
I love that you make that analogy, because very often, and this is why I do coaching, and this is why I work in coaching so much as well, because I never started wanting to help people. I never started kind of putting it outside and going, oh, well, let me do this coaching stuff and go out there and save the world. I wanted to understand myself and how I could change my life. And because I started with me, I learned how to do it. And my coach one day said, well, why don't you start helping people and tell people, what you know? So I love that, you make that connection. And second to that is the journey outwards, out from this, this life that you don't want, or a different life you do want, is a journey inwards, and, starting with self. And I think, that also leads me to the next question. Is that part and parcel of why people don't reach their dreams and reach their goals? It's because the inevitable process, we're always doing an outside type of process, and we forget sometimes it has to start with me, has to start inside.
Yeah, let's talk about some examples, because maybe that are so good stories to understand that. We usually, the people that are high performers and hyperachievers and ambitious, and they have an inner drive, they love success and challenges and to put themselves into bigger, stronger steps. So, for example, dreams and aspirations may be to run a marathon. And I was there. I just was there a few years ago. And the marathon is a huge challenge, and you need to put miles in your feet to came across that strong challenge and to cross the finish line. And I know people that they finish the marathon and they cross the dream because they mark as completed, and after that they never go back to the gym.
Yeah,
that is a goal. You complete it, gosh, it's so amazing. And after that, your convictions, your energy, your mindset, your inspirations, everything comes down. It doesn't keep you going because you cover the challenge.
yeah.
You don't need to do additional effort. That's it. Good for me. And we forget about it. So the goals are only a part of your life. A motivation and inspiration, and in weight loss, it's awful what happens. 5 pounds or 10 pounds or whatever pounds you need to lose. And after that, the day after you achieve the goal, you are eating cake. And I did myself a bunch of times. So that is a goal. A really transformation is to work with your identity in who do you want to become. It's not the same to run than to become a healthier person, to become this kind of self-care person that works out, because health is in the top of their priorities. So this is the difference in between goals and identity.
I must tell you that I absolutely love how you framed that, because I personally I struggle when I struggle to put goals in place. So it's just never been something that I've wrapped my brain around. And I've spoken to all my coaches that I've ever had around this position, and I think you've framed it in a way that really makes absolute sense. It's wonderful, and they're milestones that we need to achieve. But in the journey of setting yourself the goal, part of that identity shift, as you say, needs to happen, because then it becomes transformational, and your goals are then just these additional tick boxes that you kind of, yes, this is what I've done and accomplished, but who am I becoming, and who would I like to become? That is far the bigger question than, just ticking a box and saying, well, there's the goal, I've reached the goal.
Oh yeah, I love the word that you use. Who do I like to become? Because there are like two different kind of future. The one that evolves every day. So today we have an appointment, and after we finish, we have the whole day scheduled in our agenda, and that way is the week and the month. And we have a life planned. And who said is the life that I want to be in it? So it's not the same, the future that evolves, future by default, than the future that you create. And if you want to create something, it's because you want a deep transformation. And that's identity. Is not a goal. It's a series of goals and steps and activities, and keep going until you achieve that big, that has the capacity to really transform yourself.
Yes, I love that. So moving from that idea of understanding that change of identity, a question that sort of occurs is, how do we then become, or how do we remove blockers in our path? Because very often, when we speak about identity, recently I was listening to Anthony Robbins, and he said, for us to be able to make that change in identity, we have to violate our old identity. And I was thinking, wow, violate sounds quite, it's quite aggressive. But if you understand, if you look at it, and, you have to violate something of the old self to kind of get to where you are moving to. How do you work with individuals to remove blockers? Because very often our blockers are the stumbling blocks that just keep us where we are and where we stay.
Now we are talking, Kevin. This is the real stuff. Because we maybe have this inspiration or dream, or we want to become a different, stronger ourselves. And suddenly we realize we began and stopped doing. We did a little effort and we don't keep going. And I go back to old patterns, and I said I want to be fit, and I skipped the gym 3 times last week, and I realize I'm doing something different of what I want to achieve. And I love the theory of immunity of change, because they talk about all those biases. I want to be fit, but I don't go to the gym. I want to have more time and space to do bigger stuff, and I don't delegate. I want to order myself, and I'm not working because I have priorities. I do the small stuff instead of the big rocks. So we need to realize that change is difficult. I do have clients that they began with a question, how much it takes? Is really fast? And I said, gosh, this is the wrong question, because it's not a quick fix, and it's not a shortcut, and it's not fast. And no, it's a matter of a practice that is going small to build every day a transformation in the long run. So I don't promise a quick fix, because there's no. A quick fix is to send an email and that's it. Maybe I can solve an issue. But to transform yourself, it will take time. And also Marshall Goldsmith, that I love that guy. He talks about inertia. We don't realize our patterns. We are blind to them. So I don't realize I'm doing the same as every day, and I want different results. So the first I do is to make aware my clients that change, really transformation, will take time and effort and process. And gosh, something that we don't like, we are going to be uncomfortable. I don't like that. Kevin, when I'm changing something, I don't like uncomfortability. But it's something that will take us to a different place. So after an awareness conversation about change and the challenges there, I realize with my clients, what is the inner voice? And which voice are you going to pay attention to? Because we have two voices in our head. The first one is the one that is in charge of survival. So we have a survival brain, and we are sometimes in survival mode. And that is great to survive in an earthquake, in a fire, in a chaos, in a crisis. To have those fight flight responses are amazing. In a change, because you want to transform yourself into a better you, no, that is not good. That is a barrier. So that is the kind of voice that begins in our head to say, really, why do you want to change? You are more than okay that way. Can you really? You need to do different stuff. So why? Difficult. You don't know anything about digital products. Why are you putting yourself into it? So this is the voice that prevents us from changing. But we have another one, and we need to build on that. We have that one that when we stop our saboteurs, we can begin to see possible solutions, to explore, to analyze, to put everything here in my screen, on my table, on my agenda, on my wall, and to write down possibilities and to begin to explore and define what is going to take to change. So to do that, we need to stop or to lower the voice in our head that prevents us from change, and to go to create and build a better, stronger us in step by step, in tiny steps that can allow to do that. So I do practice with my clients to pay attention, because sometimes we are so in speed mode that we don't pay attention to our inner voice. And it's all the time there. Is that kind of judge that doesn't allow you to move freely. So, okay. And if I cannot listen, I can see the results in my body. And this is a two-way checking in ourselves. Why? Because we feel stress or anxiety or frustration, or we are desperate or unhappy, unsatisfied. So everything is happening in our body. So if I don't catch my inner voice, I can feel perfectly anxiety.
And so, and this is why, I'm glad that you're unpacking it for us, because I think that this is part of the, to tie it back into where we started around happiness. Is part of that happiness that we seek is very often we get so caught up in the problems and our current situation and the patterns that you speak of, and we don't see the patterns until we have a coach, until we are sitting down reflecting. We suddenly see patterns, or we see things that we don't necessarily see. And because that shift happens and we take those small steps and we start listening to an encouraging perspective and that inner voice that's actually helping us steer in a different direction. And even with that, actively stepping towards happiness might mean you are uncomfortable.
Yeah. And I want to go back first to something that you said, that you need somebody to be in your journey, to be with you. And a coach is amazing. And you and I are coaches, and we believe in the coaching process. And for sure, you have those experiences that the best time of achievement and transformation in your life is because you have a coach.
Yeah.
But people began like, I can do by myself. I bet I can do this time because I have the motivation and the convictions. Blah, blah, blah. I can do that. And suddenly you stop doing. So we need somebody that will be an accountability partner for what you want, co-responsible of what you want to achieve. And that's why there are coaches and mentors and accountability partners and thinking partners and all that stuff that can help you to achieve. So I recommend if you want to achieve something big, go grab some outside resources to support yourself. Because we are going to do U-turns, as in the car. Oh gosh, I turned in the wrong way. Oh, I went back to my old habits. So we need somebody that when realizes that you are going down, it will take you up again.
Yeah.
And that is so powerful. And talking about happiness, everything that you do that is big needs to fit you well. Because if not, if I'm going to work so many hours that I'm going to be so overwhelmed and burnout, this is not the best way of approaching something, because you are going to be so unhappy for so much time that who wants to choose something like that? So you need to realize what will make you happy and better, and how to have those times of rest and recovery and joy that we deserve and that are so good to be in our best shape. I listened to a Blinkist of Venus Williams, the tennis player, and I love what she said about um, balance, because balance is not a 50-50 game. There's no possibility there. And if you think it's a 50-50, gosh, you are going to be so frustrated because it's not possible. You work so many hours here and you go back home and you don't have a 50. So that is not a possible formula. What is possible to bring balance in those moments when we feel we are out of balance? And I love that, because that makes you happy and better and allows you to breathe and recover yourself and being in a best mood and have again energy. And that makes us happy. As Mogaudat said once, you need to remove what makes you unhappy. And that way your happiness grows. And yeah, if I'm so overwhelmed and I breathe a little bit and I go for a 5 minutes walk, I remove what was breaking myself inside. And it doesn't take a lot. When we think about mindfulness, is this a whole hour? Is this 10 minutes? I don't have. No. Take one deep breath. One. And put yourself into a better state.
Yeah. And as you were speaking about the balance now, I think, one of my coaches once said to me, you need to think of it as a symphony. Sometimes the strings play, sometimes the trumpet plays, and sometimes the whole orchestra plays, but there has to be a give and take at all, I think of it as the balance you speak of, right? Sometimes you have to find that balance, the give and take of, so that at the end of that showpiece or that beautiful orchestra playing, you've suddenly had all those elements working at the same time, although at the end of it becomes this beautiful piece of music. And it's the same kind of finding that balance. It's not it doesn't always feel like it's 50-50. It has to be that give and take. And there again, I tie back to happiness, because as you say, when you're just working hard, it feels like you only work. When you just not, you're not doing enough, you feel like you're not doing enough for your life. So there has to be this constant give and take the whole time.
Yeah, but I want to think in those small moments that you can give yourself something that will put you in a better state, state of mind, state of body. And there are small actions.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a small walk. Maybe it's to talk to my family. Maybe it's a break with some nuts or whatever you want to eat to increase your energy. Maybe it's to grab your coffee, or to begin the morning with gratitude practice, something. But I do have those clients that in the early morning, the first thing that they do is to put the news. And I said, gosh, the world is awful. Why do you do that? You increase your levels of cortisol, and that's why you are so stressed when you open your eyes. That who is in his mind will want that.
Yeah. And another question, as you're speaking now, is, so happiness in its, if we look at happiness as a sort of an overarching topic of today's conversation, why do you find that it's important to speak of happiness and share it as a message? If I listen to it myself, is, it's the old saying that says, happiness is an inside job. It doesn't matter what's happening to the world out there. It really depends on how I sit with my happiness and what happiness means for me, and really, defining that identity and locking into that identity of what is my happiness, and have that as part of that transformation. And the more we do it, the more we share the message, the more we have these conversations, hopefully the more people want to do it and want to be part of that. What is that message? Why do you think happiness is an important conversation to have?
Yeah, I do believe it's a conversation we need to, because there are some myth, and it's that I will be happy when I will have a better home, a better car, a better job, a better income, a better, and you put that outside and dependable on a certain amount of things. And happiness is first a decision of I define to myself a life of enjoyment. And it's not that everything you are doing and experiencing and living, it's so amazing and so easy. No. But if you define that you want to be happy, it's the way you approach life, the ones that change us and change the way we live. So it is a conversation with everyone,
And
to change perspective and actions.
I like that you say it starts with a decision, because, and to circle back to, that's where the transformation of that identity is, because part of that is also understanding, well, does my identity relate to happiness? Do I relate to happiness? What is my identity patterns involving happiness? Is there laughter involved? Is there music? Is there a walk, after work? Is there playing with the dogs? Is there connecting with humans? Is there phoning a friend? There's all these little things that are very obvious and very, it's a very go-to behaviors that we can do, but somehow we believe that happiness is this magical, potion. Right?
Yeah, and I realize you have dopamine menu in your head with those small moments that bring you happiness.
Yeah.
So you have, and we can have a dopamine menu, and walk the dog is one of it, and read to a child a story is another one, and to sing or to dance or to read my book is another one, and to call to a friend or have a lunch with somebody significant is another one. And we can have those moments that bring us happiness and we enjoy. And when we do that, we create dopamine in our brain and we feel fulfilled. And that is an amazing feeling. We need to find those moments when we feel great doing something.
And in essence, that's what transformation is. It's the work. You have to do the work. It's the uncomfortable work. Sometimes it's a challenge and it's not going to feel easy. And sometimes it seems that simple, and sometimes it is that simple.
Yeah. And I said my clients, sometimes change takes a lot. I resisted all my life until 47 years. I resisted to work out. And now I don't question myself. I was this morning in my Pilates class, and I do 6 times a week physical training.
Yeah.
I do. So, yeah, and I don't question myself anymore. And I don't have an inner battle that, oh, gosh, really? I need to go again. It's not anymore in my head because it's a lifestyle. So some changes takes a lot.
Yeah.
And some others, in a moment, you can do something that puts you in a different place. In a moment, a different meaning, a different action, a step to do something, and you feel better. So it's
Yeah.
not this always big stuff that we don't want to go through. Sometimes are small steps or small decisions and actions.
So Hilda, I love chatting to you, and I think it's such a good conversation to have. If you were to leave our audience today with something that they could take away from today's conversation, what would you want to leave the audience with?
Yeah, I do believe that the mornings, the first minutes in the mornings, color your whole day. It's like it puts you in the place of a different disposition. If you take 2 minutes when you open your eyes before jumping and running and rushing into the day to define what do you want, or to say thank you, God or Lord or universe or whatever you want to think. A 2 minutes practice, a 2 minutes reflection, a 2 minutes breathing, at 2 minutes in a 24 hours, and to color your day in a best way. And that is begin with enjoying life. It's a good way to begin to be happy.
It is, yes.
And,
Thank
and
you.
also, Kevin, I want another one that jumps into my head, and I want to say that we have a tendency to see and to have negative thoughts. This is happen. Oh my gosh, if that is going to happen, or maybe this and that. So we have a tendency to hold on to negative thoughts. So every time that I listen to myself too much, saying, no, this is not possible, gosh, how difficult. Every time I listen to myself too many times saying no or being negative, we need to change into 3 times of a positive thought. We can do that. We can rehearse to stop our negative thoughts and turn into positive and find out what is possible in life. So there are 2 things that I practice, and I promise it changes lives.
Fantastic. She's a catalyst for personal and professional growth, striving to empower individuals and organizations to unlock performance and happiness. Hilda Fainsod, where do we go? Where's the quickest way for us to get hold of you if we want to check you out and connect with you?
Yeah, there are 2 ways. www.hildafainsod.com is my website, and also through my books. A book in Spanish, Buen Camino, Power Up in English, in Amazon, Power Up, the Executive Roadmap to Transforming Life and Business, where the things of change and sabotage are there, and the way of overcoming or all those obstacles. So write me. I'm in all the social media. I'm in LinkedIn. Write me and put yourself into contact and find out a coach and build this future self that you today will be so proud of.
Fantastic. I love that. And guys, we will put all the links in the description boxes below. And please remember to like and share and tune into the Lunchtime Series every week, Wednesday and Thursday, for myself and Hilda. Hilda, thank you so much for spending some time with me. It was an absolute pleasure. I'll chat to you soon. Have a fantastic week.